Was that Ian who took a gasp there? Was he?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Sounds like he left a bit of a deposit in his underpants.
Good evening and welcome back to the Cheltenham Exchange and our festival preview, the first of our festival previews. Thank you for that, Ian, sticking that in the corner there. A lot of you probably won't know who the hell I am. I've been missing in action for several months. Obviously not being on holiday, as Ian's Wendell reference there in the corner would prove.
Still yellow as ever.
So I'll be even rustier than normal, unfortunately, but I won't need to speak much because the experts will be taking you through the races. This evening's recording, we're looking at all the non-handicaps, graded races and so on, and then we'll be recording handicaps tomorrow evening. Not sure when they'll go out. The boss will inform us before the end of the video, I am sure. So, as I say, I can't say too much about absence, but unfortunately, no Matty tonight. He's injured in action, unfortunately. So get well soon, Matty. But yeah, apart from that, full crew. We've got Ian, Johnny, Alex, and of course, I was going to say special guest Graham Fletcher, but he's virtually one of the team, to be fair. He's
part of the furniture now.
Outstanding performances through the season for us so far already. So great to have you back on again, Graham.
Thank you for the invite. Much appreciated.
So, a week to go. We're recording this Tuesday evening. So this time next week, we'll know what's gone on day one. So straight into the action, unless anybody wants to pull me up on anything I've forgotten. I'm looking at you, Ian.
No. Do you want me to bring the odds up?
If you bring the odds up when we're talking about the races, that would be great. So, okay. Straight into the festival opener, Supreme Novices Hurdle, named this year after Mikey O'Sullivan. So, quite a poignant race after that horrendous news a couple of weeks ago. Copec de Boards, Talking Horse. Who wants to kick us off here? Alex, I'll come to you.
Yeah, I don't think we need to spend too much time on this race. I think a lot of the stuff's already been said. Copec de Board has clearly got the best chance. Only real danger for him, to me, is if he boils over in the parade ring. But if he doesn't, then, I mean, he should beat all these. If I was having a look for one, sort of a little bit of a price for an each way, I'd probably look at maybe Carbao for Mullins, but he might even run in the Turners. But other than that, Copec wins.
Thank you, Alex. Graham, similar thoughts?
Similar thoughts. I think after watching it, what's it run 3 times now, is it? I think the last time was his most impressive. And, I think he's the start of most people's ACCAs, doubles, trebles, you name it, I think, to be honest. So, yeah, I think Copec de Board, if it stays nice and calm, I think it should hose up.
Lovely. Johnny, same camp?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I was obviously Salvatore Monday until the DRF, and then I saw that performance there by Copec, blew everybody else away. I've obviously got the wrong race, having got in at 33s for the Turners, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth. Having looked at my notes for last year, though, I had Ballyburn winning this and Slade Steel winning the other one, so there's still a tiny bit of hope if the ground continues to out. Whether it will, I don't know. I mean, I think he'll win. But if I was starting afresh now, I'd probably have a few quid each way on William Money at 14s. I think he's improved with every run this season. He's a bit more experienced than the others, and I think that might stand him in good stead on the day, and he'll hopefully fill one of the places.
Be quite a that would be quite a welcome result, wouldn't it?
It would.
The sad news that we were talking about. So, okay, thank you, Johnny. So, Ian, full house for Copec.
Full house, OJ. Similar to Johnny, I was originally in the Romeo Coolio camp, and then say a majority of us were at the Dublin Racing Festival, and he just blew us away with his performance. I think he won by 13 lengths. Originally, the form was franked by Carol Bunga. Was sadly not going to be in the Turners. Each way wise, I'm looking at the Henry de Bromhead horse Work Ahead. He made all three win in December. I think it was, as Johnny said, William Money's come out and won since. There's a horse called Sprinter de la Mer that's come out and won as well. So I can see him potentially making the run in like he did at Leopardstown. Romeo Coolio likes to be in the van as well. You could see that when he was beaten in the Royal Bond, I think he sat too far back, so he needs to be up there. And I can see Kopek just sitting just behind the two of them and probably pick them off at the last. But yeah, Kopek for me in the Work Ahead for a bit of each way money, OJ.
Lovely. Thank you, chaps. Right, we won't dwell too long. We'll move on to the Arkle. And of course, Sergino not now going here, obviously, with the injury. So Madgeborough, hot favourite. Is it going to be full house here again for Madgeborough? Do we think bookies are going to take a bashing first two races, Ian? What do you reckon?
I think they will. I saw a post from Ed Quigley, used to be in the Racing Post, old Quiggers, and he reckons that there potentially could only be 4 runners in the race, which would be Madgeborough, Lodersud, Django Bay, and Touch Me Not. With Only by Night, that was originally going to go here, maybe because of the drying ground, may now go to the Mayor's Chase. Firefox seems to be going to a handicap. So sadly, I think that the race that we'd all hoped is going to dwindle down to a procession, I think, for Madgeborough. But yeah, not even any each way plays. If there's only going to be 4 or 5 runners, it's one for Madgeborough to put into your records. I think your doubles and trebles on the day, OJ.
Okay. Thanks, Ian. Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, after his performance at the DRF, I can't see him not winning this. Well, obviously, he did clout a few there. If he does that here, the fence is maybe not quite so forgiving. So he's got to be careful, especially at that second last, is it? You've got to be careful at that fence. I do quite like Lodersud, to be fair. And I think he'll give him a good race, but I do think he's got a few pounds to find. But like you said, OJ, it's such a shame Sergino isn't fronting up here because it would have been a cracking race, wouldn't it? And it's a shame we don't get that. And it would be a shame if we only get four or five runners, because I was hoping that, you know, there might be 5 or 6 and you could get a place bet on Lodersud to maybe finish second or something like that, or betting without the favourite, one or the other. But yeah, I think he'll follow him home. But Madgeborough should take all the beating.
Lovely. Thanks, Johnny. Graham?
Yeah, very boringly, I'm going to wade in the same. That's the second part of the double, isn't it? Up there, Madgeborough, I think. Again, as they just said, he clattered a few fences over in Dublin. But I can't see that Lodersud beating it, to be honest. I just can't see that. So I think the only thing could beat it is if something gets in his way, probably. You know, somebody run across the track or whatever. But I think Madgeborough, I think, is pretty nailed on. I heard tonight that they're thinking of putting Springwell Bay in the Arkle.
Really?
Wow.
Bloody hell.
There you go.
There's place money available, isn't it? It's probably why not? Yeah.
I guess it's 4 to beat in the Arkle versus 20 odd to beat in a Grand Annual or a plate or something.
Drop to 2 mile.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That wasn't exactly from the horse's mouth, but it was pretty close.
Interesting. Lovely. Thank you, Graham. Alex, wrap it up.
I am not going to make it 4 out of 4. Whilst I think Madgeborough is, whilst I think he is the most likely winner, I think at the prices you've got to back Lodersud. He's 4 from 4 over fences. When you look at the trends for the race, it's been nearly 20 years since a 5-year-old won the Arkle, so that goes against Madgeborough. I mean, looking at Lodersud, he looked like he was going to win by 20 lengths last time at Warwick, but then he got a bit lonely out front and Rubo closed at the end. I think he was well beaten. It was just got a bit lonely. Also, Rubo then won next time out when myself and Ian were at Kempton. That was in a grade 2, I believe. And finally, how nice would it be to see a John Hales Gray win at the festival after he passed away last month? So, yeah, nice little emotional bet, I guess, as well. But I think he does hold a chance, and I don't think there should be that big a price disparity between the two. especially when there's only £6 between them on official ratings. So yeah, I think he's 9-2, isn't he? It's on there. There's 9-2 available for a load of studs. So yeah, I'd be very tempted with that.
Oh, interesting. Thank you, Alex. Lovely. Throw one in the mix there then. Thank you, chaps. Right. Okay. So 3 for Madgeborough, 1 for Lodersud. Johnny was also slightly torn, I think, weren't you, Johnny? You know, you'd be
but
taking Lodersud if places were available.
Yeah.
So you may well be hoping that Springwell Bay does confirm tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So I think we've got Mayor's Hurdle and Champion Hurdle. I think they've swapped them around this year, haven't they? I think.
Yeah.
Mayor's Hurdle first.
Hurdle later on. So I guess we're going to have the same conversations around both races. We now know brighter days ahead. Going Champion Hurdle. Probably we're all hoping that Lossiemouth is also going Champion Hurdle. I guess. I think that makes it the spectacle. So in terms of the mares, they're obviously still at the top of the betting. Graham, give us some insights into the mares. Please.
I've picked out 3 for this one so far. Jade de Grugy. So I'm interested to see what people think about that. Golden Ace, which I think is stable, is coming back into a good set of form, and he ran very well last time at Wincanton, I think. And July Flower. That's the other one I've been told about. So if I had to make a choice, I'm going to go with July Flower. Thanks.
Lovely. So July Flower for Graham, which got a thumbs up from Ian. So Ian will scoot across to you there. Was that a big thumbs up?
Yeah, very happy with Graham's choice there. I only just realised that, I know it's going a bit off pace, that she ran, before she went to Henry de Bromhead, she ran in the French Champion Hurdle over 3 miles, and was only just, I think she was 2 3/4 lengths behind the winner. Hewitt was second. Some of the others in behind, a Marlin Mission, one of Alex's old favourites, and Home by the Lead that's done really well, and the second favourite for the Stayers Hurdle. We got Irish Point. So I think from there, that's a nice piece of form. And then she won in December. Granted, she was giving the field, I think it was £4 or £5. Carla Conti seems to be one again for this race. Jatara has come out and won since. So the form seems to stack up for me. A nice price of 5 to 1. Jade de Grugy was impressive last time out, but I just wonder if she'll get the bounce back. This will be her second race. Next time in next week, and as you say, some of these other 2, Brighter Days and Lossie, will probably go to the Champion Hurdle. So I just think that July Flower 4 5 to 1 is a nice price and should only shorten, OJ.
Lovely. So get on now, Ian. Get on now.
Get the 50p
on. Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if Lossie did turn up here, she'd win pulling a car, wouldn't she? So, I mean, that's still obviously an option, but it's not looking likely. It's whether they want to take on the others or not, isn't it, really? So, we'll find out late on that. So I think Jade de Grugy obviously will probably go favourite now. I think she's a little bit short, to be honest, and her performance round here last time would put a few concerns in my mind. You'd like to see her run well at the track first. But I'm going to side with Carla Conti each way for Gordon Elliott. Was behind July Flower last time out, but gave her £5. But I think she might improve a little bit for that and hopefully go past her. And also the race before that, she was behind Amsterdam, and he looks quite good to me. So I'm just hoping that those little form there behind those 2, stand in good stead. The other one I think me and Alex mentioned earlier in the season was Gala Marceau, but she's been entered for handicaps as well. So if she came here, that might be decent each way one as well. But I'll go for Carla Conti each way.
Lovely. Thank you, Johnny. And right on cue, Alex.
Yeah, Johnny's mentioned it for me. You might think I'm an idiot, but I'm going on Gala Marceau again.
Go on, Alex.
Now, the logic is, to me, like a lot of horses go missing, don't they, ex-juveniles in their second season, and she kind of did last year. And then she sort of pulled it back all together again last time. Well, in the last race of her season last year at Punchestown, she was second to Lossiemouth. Behind her that day was Ashrow Diamond, was 20 lengths behind her. And then Tell Me Something Girl was 40 lengths behind her that day as well. And Tell Me Something Girl was second in the Mares' Hurdle last year as well. So she was obviously still in like fairly decent nick. I know she's had one run this year, and that was at Warwick. I was there that day, and she was just far too keen. And I'm just hoping that having had a race, having been off the track for so long, she's got that sort of keenness out of her system, and it's all systems go. I mean, this is a horse that had form with Lossiemouth all the way through her juvenile year. She was either second behind her or she beat her once as well. So, I mean, if Lossie was in here, she'd be a very short price, and I don't think she's that far behind her. So that'll be my logic with her, and she's still a nice price at 25s each. Well, 25s, maybe a little bit of 33s. Oh, 40s there, I can see, actually. Although that's like an exchange. So, yeah, that'll be my selection each way. Yeah, Gala Marceau for me.
Do you think they'll put Lossiemouth in the champion? Do you think they want to win a
Yeah,
race?
I think so.
Do you think?
I don't think Willie would only want State Man, who's probably got very little chance of winning it, as his only entry in the champion when he's got a few in here. So
I don't think there's exchange, Alex. I think that's the is it priced up? I think
is it? Sorry, I couldn't quite see it.
AK bets.
Oh, AK bets as well. Okay,
Yeah.
I might have a little look.
Lovely. Thank you, Alex. Very nice argument made there for Gala Marceau, and at a very nice price.
Hopefully she's as good as the argument.
One more to mention, OJ.
Yep.
The other one I just want to mention, it's a huge price, maybe 66s, is Lantry Lady for Henry. Finished fourth in it last year, 12 lengths behind Lossiemouth. Really lightly raced, you know, it hardly has a race. Was seventh behind Tiapu over 3 miles, which obviously isn't her trip. And then had a sort of a blowout in January, beaten by Fun, but hasn't raced since. And you just think maybe that she's just waiting for this race and give her another go. Year older than last year, finished fourth. So, you know, she might go one better and get in the top 3 this year. Who knows? But, I mean, it doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look even as strong as last year in my eyes. So, you never know. She could race and get a place as well. So, that's the other one that I wanted to mention.
I think I read somewhere, Johnny, that she might only go if they're going sort of soft or worse.
Yeah. So maybe one on the day.
See how that plays out.
Yeah, extra places on the day, perhaps if she shows her.
It just seems like heavy going. I think she won at Gowran at beginning of last year on heavy. So yeah, that could be the case, Alex. I think.
Lovely. Couple of nice little bonus ones there then. Right. Last race we're looking at on day one. Champion Hurdle. The talking race. Could be quite the spectacle. Yeah, as we say, we're hoping. Did I see today Lossiemouth's about 15-2 in places? Maybe not. I thought I'd seen 15-2 somewhere, but could well be wrong. It probably was non-runner, no bet that I was looking at, to be honest. So yeah, Constitution Hill. What do we think? Back to his best, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, if 4 main players turn up here, it should be a hell of a race, shouldn't it? Probably race of the week, which would be really good to see. What we don't want to see is just a one-horse race, do we? We want to see a proper champion hurdle, which would be good. I think he's still the one to beat, OJ, and he sets a standard, doesn't he, at the level, to be fair. I mean, Lossiemouth, really fond of her, but had that fall last time out, which, you know, doesn't really bode well for a champion hurdle. But she does act on the track, doesn't she? And she should run a race, which is the positive side to her. Be interested on the tactics of BDA, won't it? Whether she bolts off from the front like she did on the last couple of races, because I think pulling off those tactics at Cheltenham is probably slightly harder than on some of those other tracks. So it'd be interesting to see how they ride her. But I mean, again, she was in the Mares' Novice last year, had a chance to win that race and didn't seem to go through with it, did she? So we'll see how she goes. But I think Constitution Hill should win, to be honest. I'm still the boss here, and he'll get the victory on the day.
Saying that about tactics, is Gordon's still got King of Kingsfield in here. Some,
yes.
Maybe make a run in for her.
100 to 1.
Potentially pop out in front and make the pace.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much, Johnny. Alex, what are you thinking?
I feel like every day I look at this race and I sort of change my mind about who's going to win, and between the top two, I think you can make a case for either, and I don't really like that. And equally, you could. The only one I really don't like in the race is State Man, and I didn't like him. I've not liked him for a long time. That's just a personal thing. I just don't like him. If you really push me and put a gun to my head, I'd probably say I think Brighter Days Ahead is the one to beat at this stage rather than Constitution Hill. I think he's still got to prove that he's the level he was. His RPRs since he's come back were nowhere near the level of his champion hurdle win or his Supreme Novices win. I think he was nearly 25 pounds below those wins. So I think he still has to prove that he's the horse he was. Whereas I think we know the level that Brighter Days Ahead is. So I almost feel like he's got more to prove than she has, which sounds a bit strange. But yeah, I think this is going to be a watching brief for me, unless I convince myself to have a little bet on Lossiemouth, which is likely.
Love it. Love that. Thank you, Alex. Graham.
I've liked Lossiemouth ever since I first saw her. I think there was a problem with pigeons on the track last time, apparently. There's some pigeons in front of her.
Yeah, a Leopardstown.
Yeah, so it's a bit annoying, especially if you got something on her at the time. Anyway, I listened to an interview with Gordon Elliott this week. As you just said, King of Kingsfield will go out in front. They'll probably bring Burdett Road into it as well, make the run in for Brighter Days Ahead. And I think I like Constitution Hill, but then I don't like it, if you know what I mean, because it's had colic, which is a serious problem for a horse of any type. It was injured as well, I think. Was it a leg injury before? I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I just think the younger horse, Brighter Days Ahead, might just steal a march in it because she's going to be looked after by a stable companion, I think, given a pace to run off. And I think that might change the complexion of the race. But I agree. You don't want to see a one-horse race. So hope that happens and it'll be a cracking finish. But I'm going to go for Brighter Days Ahead.
Brighter Days Ahead for Graham as well. And so do you think the £7 could be a deciding factor? Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Graham. And Bossman.
I've got to go with Con Hill, haven't I? But I did have my doubts earlier in the last season when he had his. I know everyone loves these racecourse gallops, don't they? Mr. Henderson and Sergino ran all over him, and they thought he was finished. And as Graham said, he had his colic. I think he's had a wind up as well. He's had 2 wins. So he beat Lossiemouth at Boxing Day. I think they said Willie Mullins technically said she was beaten by the first hurdle, but she did run on only to be beaten 2.5 lengths. So I didn't think that was too bad. And then I was there when he won the Unibet hurdle, but that was just like scoring in public, and then you could see everybody gasped when he jumped the last hurdle and nearly caught it. And I think that was Nico. I think he got a bit too complacent. And just to add what you're saying about the tactics, I do think potentially they will do that. They'll send King Kingsfield up in front. Bright Days Ahead will probably just sit behind. So it'd be interesting to see what Nico does with Constitution Hill, whether they'll let. I don't think they'll do what State Man did. I think Paul Tannan probably was a bit confident. I thought, oh, she'll just run out of puff, and obviously she didn't end up winning by 30 lengths. I think Nico would be more astute to that, and he probably has got more speed than State Man. So I think he'll just hold off maybe 2 out and then maybe go for it then. But State Man to win, but not by much. State Man to win, Con Hill to win, but not by much. Okay.
a big trip there.
Yeah.
It was what you're saying there about letting them have a lead. I mean, I guess the thing is that both Lossy and Bright are days ahead. You know that they can stay, can't they? So it would be a gamble doing that, wouldn't it? So
That's it. I just wonder if the Mullins two might even sit behind them three. Maybe if the three of them go off like the clappers, they might pick up the pieces. But we'll see.
It looks like it's going to be quite the spectacle. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So thank you, gents. Right, so that wraps up day one. Obviously, nothing too fancy price-wise. I guess, do we want to do a best bet each day, or just wait until the end and give one best bet each at the end? What do you think, boys?
Do it in the end.
Do one at the end, yeah. Okay, so we will move on to day two, and now it's the Turners, isn't it? The Bavarian Bingham was the Ballymore. Was I reading today that the New Lion has been shortening? Does that have something to do with other entries and so on? I don't know. I'm out of touch, but New Lion there is clearly at the top of the betting, pretty much across the board. So.
I think it's because OJ. Just interrupt. I think there's anybody that follows the machine and on the Betfair exchange. I think because of the drying ground, there's a feeling that Final Demand might potentially go to the Bartlett. So money has come from the New Line in case Final Demand goes up in trip. I think that's where the favouritism's come from over the last few hours. And I think there's an interview in the Nick Luck podcast, and there's not full confirmation that he could go here, which I know it's likely he will, but I think it's just that slight doubt with the weather. We may go to the Bartlett.
Okie dokie. So the New Lion is obviously the great British hope in here, Ian. You may as well continue with your analysis.
Yeah, I'm a bit gutted with it because I was to tie in with the Cobet de board form. I was really into Cowabunga, the JP horse, and so sadly, got an injury. So I've not very original, but I do like Final Demand. He was again very impressive at the Dublin Racing Festival. You could crab some of his forms, saying what he's beat. I know he won 15 lengths at Limerick, beat Timmy Tuesday and Will the Wise, and he won 12 lengths at the Dublin Racing Festival. Could say, as I said, about what he's beat Wingmen. I personally believe Will's gone in a handicapping now. Seems like he's going to the Bartlett. Mozzie's sister was third and was beaten by the Yellow Clay and the Big Westerner. That maybe not too bad. But you got like Jasmine DeVoe and Super Sunday didn't really perform. So does that performance flatter him? But then again, you could say the same thing about the New Lion. I wrote here, AJ, I think the last time a horse won the Challow Hurdle and then won a race at Cheltenham, I think Henry VIII was in charge. So I was at the Realm. And you could grab that form as well. Windigos was second, won an egg and spoon at Weatherby a couple of weeks ago. Bill Joyce was beaten by 6 Mile Bridge at Cheltenham. That's now found out it was a druggie. And you got a Regent Stroll was fourth and he got beat by Fingal Bridge. So again, they probably cancel out each other. So it's not like a horse that well, I know Final Demand did wow me, but it's you could probably pick bones out of a lot of the horses. Even Potter's Charm at one point was favourite for this race and ran terribly. I think ran at one race too many and just ran out of puff. But yeah, I'll go with Final Demand, OJ. But tough race.
Tough race indeed. So. Yeah, I can't remember which one you're going for there, Ian. I was joking.
Final Demand. Well, he took myself out of everyone.
Final Demand. I like the little mention from Potter's Charm. I mean, like you say, earlier on in the season, I thought he looked.
I will say, the Yellow Clay's running this, but it might be my wallet talking. I want him to go to the Bartlett, but we'll see.
Okay, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much ballsed this race up, to be honest with you, OJ. having been a strong supporter of Kopek de Boards early on, and then the destruction at the DRF has cocked that one up. Final Demand, I'm a bit late to the party on now. Missed the boat on that one, and so I don't want to be taking that sort of price on him. But I'm not really 100% convinced by him. I also, like Ian, I had the Yellow Clay on the Albert Bartlett, so I got that wrong as well. It's just been a catastrophe, this. And also, Potter's Charm, I was quite keen on him, but like Ian said, he's had one race too many, but then he was beaten by a druggie, so, you know. In fact, that cost me a bloody treble that day.
Yeah.
I'm like fuming. They haven't paid out.
Fuming, Johnny.
Fuming.
Fuming.
So, yeah, I mean, the other one that sort of kind of catches my eye, but he's an 8-year-old, is James's Gate, which is a bit of a funny one, really, an 8-year-old running in this. How old was Appreciate It when he won? Was he 7?
7, I think, when he won the 6th frame.
But I don't know if an 8-year-old has ever won it. I'm not sure if an 8-year-old's ever competed in it. But his form doesn't really stack up to an awful lot. He's obviously older than the others, but his form doesn't stack up. I mean, I've got actually nothing written down, but if I had to do one, purely because I went for the Albert Bartlett instead of this, I'd have to go the Yellow Clay. I mean, Gordon keeps saying he's fast enough for this, and he knows better than me. I thought he looked more like the 3-miler, but, you know, like I say, he knows better. So I'd probably go for the Yellow Clay just purely on that basis.
Yeah, Johnny, the last 8-year-old to win was in 1974, Brown Lad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, bloody hell.
Time.
Not heard of that one. See,
No.
So yeah, Yellow Clay. I think OJ just a bit of a tentative selection, really.
James's Gate, is that Mull Ryan horse? Is it the one? Isn't it the company that Ballymore?
It's
with yeah.
Still, isn't it? Now it used to be with Mullins, didn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, in the Mull Ryan colours. Yeah.
Because I'm sure he ran in. It was a similar story when he ran in the bumper, wasn't it? That he was older than the rest. Yeah, could be totally wrong.
He's very lightly raced. Like, he's only raced 7 times, and he's an 8-year-old, which is, you know, there must be obviously problems getting into the track, isn't there? So, yeah, I mean, again, might just have a little few quid each way on him and a few quid win on the Yellow Clay, and just see what happens.
Lovely, thank you, Johnny. Graham.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that 6 Mile Bridge had been drugged. Okay, so. Yeah.
Oh, now you know.
I didn't know. It's got an entry in this, so I wonder if it's going to be in this again as well. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, they said he can still run at Cheltenham.
Oh, good. That'll be nice, wouldn't it? I'm going to be patriotic and go with the New Lion. Most impressive, I thought, at the Challow Hurdle. Turner's pace when it came off it could choose where it wanted to run to this last hurdle, and it skated away from the rest of them. And I'm not saying the rest of them were any decent ones, but they had some talking horses, the Nichols one, for example. But I think the New Lion's got a fair chances. However, Final Demand looked very good at the DRF, better than I expected. But just for the fact that they can't win them all, I suspect the Irish might get one race, they might get wrong. I'm going to go with the New Lion in this one, I think. But if 6 Mile Bridge runs each way on the 6 Mile Bridge, drugs or no drugs.
Love it. Thank you, Graham. Okay, and finally, Alex, the winner is.
I'm not giving one for a win. There's a lot of the ones at the top of the market I don't really like. Never really warmed to the New Lion. Don't really like Final Demand. Don't know where Kopek's going. I hope he goes here, but he won't. Yellow Clay, like Johnny said, probably is going to go here, but I want him in the Bartlett. I think if you put a gun to my head and said what you're going to bet on the day, I'd probably look to get Potter's Charm, but I'd probably back him for place only. I don't think he's good enough to beat some of these, but to win the race, but I think he probably will run into the first 3. When you mentioned that race from Trials Day, wasn't it, where he finished behind 6 Mile Bridge?
Yeah.
He was actually giving away £5 that day as well. He's beating 8 lengths. And I think he'd turn the tables on him at least. And I think he'll finish top 3, but I don't think he'll win it. So that'll be my pick, Potter's Charm. I'll either look at doing a place or going each way, depending on what the odds for the place are.
I like that, Alex. Thank you. I might follow you on that. Potter's Charm. I did that. I thought, I know Valgram didn't come to anything early in the season, but that race where he destroyed Valgram, I thought was a cracking performance.
Well, the
I'm
thought
sure
is
Bobby's
that he wasn't
Valgren
trying
tomorrow,
since,
OJ.
so
One horse,
Sorry, Al.
one race too many.
the thought about Valgrand is that he hasn't been trying since, and he's now been going down a few pounds on purpose.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yes. No, I can well believe that. Sorry, Ian, what
So said about Valgren, I think we could be talking about him tomorrow.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
won't be tomorrow, he's not trained by Henderson.
No.
Okay, so final demand for Ian. Yellow Clay at a push for Johnny, but he's hoping he goes Bartlett. Potter's Charm potentially each way or place bet for Alex. And Graham's sticking with the new Lion. Great British Hope in it. Lovely. Thank you, gents. Right. Brown Advisory is the next on the list. I do believe. Second race on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Ballyburn, top of the betting. Right, should we go to Graham? Do you want to kick us off here?
I think Ballyburn will win. I don't think I need to say any more. I think Ballyburn will win. It'd be easy as that. Dancing City might run it close. Better days ahead, perhaps. But the rest of them, well, I think Ballyburn will win. Sorry, a bit short and sweet, but
absolutely. I think a lot of people had penciled in for here from last year, didn't they, Alex? What do you reckon?
Yeah, my only real concern with Ballyburn is his jumping. I mean, at the DRF, he lost 11 lengths to Croke Park through just jumping alone. And I think Cheltenham, especially with the undulations, is a place that horses, if they jump very poorly, it can impact you more than other tracks. That'll be the only real way to crab him, really. If I was looking to bet now, I'd probably have a little each way on better days ahead, 3 places, because I think he'll finish in the top 3. And I wouldn't say he's not got a chance of winning. So that'd be my bet now. It's not going to happen. But if the ground did come up really badly, if we had a torrential downpour that's not expected, then I'd probably have a little better back on a Stellar Story, but not on the ground that it's looking like we're going to get. So yeah, that'll be my angle at better days ahead.
Better days ahead each way. Lovely, thank you, Alex. Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, total pocket talking here. Ballyburn for me. On at 33s after they basically went over the line in the Ballymore last year. So I was hoping that this would turn out this way where he'd come here. So obviously I can't desert him now. I thought he jumped okay last time. He was adequate, wasn't really slick, but I thought he jumped better than he did the first time and he'd probably improve a little bit. I just think if they're going over the last and they're quite level, he'll just power up the hill. I just think he's a lot quicker than these. I think Dancing City looks a bit of a boat to me. He might follow him home. I just think Ballyburn will win. I think to be fair, the 2 Gordon horses both look above average as well, so they'll probably fight out the other place. But yeah, Ballyburn all the way as well.
Good stuff. Yeah, I remember that last year. It was a cracking bet that was to get on at the time. And you mentioned boats there, so talking of boat fans, Ian can finish off this race for us. Oh, he's got his hat, love it.
Yeah, I won't discuss too much. I like Ballyburn as well. I think his performance was very good at the Dublin Racing Festival. I know it was only over 2.5, but I think you could see him and Croke Park would probably be the ones to look out for. Ballyburn just had, I think, as Johnny said, has that turn of foot. I think if anybody that watches the last race, you'll see coming 1 or 2 out, you can see Croke Park was just in front, but Ballyburn just had that battle and that speed just to go past him at the end. One I'm going to play each way. Again, if anybody has the chance, there was a race to Drimore that Croke Park won. It's a horse called Gorgeous Tom. Now, if you look at, I think it was 2 out. If you look at his run, he's literally out the back of the telly. And he ran on and he finished, I think, a length behind. He come 4th, but finished just a length behind. And I thought that was very, very eye-catching. Again, only over 2.5 in that race, but I think he'll have no issues going the 3 miles, and I think he'll relish the trip and the hill. 25-1 at the minute, I think is massive. So he'll be my each way play. So Gorgeous Tom for Henry de Bromhead, but Ballyburn for the win, OJ.
Lovely, thank you, Ian. Nice little bonus bet there, 25-1. I have to have a look at that. Right, so moving swiftly along. The clock's ticking away here. So Champion Chase, John Bond's Day in the Sun. What do we think, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I broke that actually down, OJ. I'd love to see John Bond get his day in the sun. And obviously he's got every chance, but this race is absolutely mental. Anything can win it, can't it? Only 3 of the last 12 odds-on shots have won the race. So it's an absolute graveyard for favourites. So on that stat alone, I just can't put him up for this, although I'd love to see him win. So this is one that, I don't know whether it's a shock or not. I know somebody be very happy, but I just think Marine Nationale is going to win. Don't ask me why. It's a gut feeling more than anything. I think he's going to go really close. He obviously needs to keep that Solness closer to him than he did at the DRF. But I thought he ran a pretty good eye-catching race that day. And, you know, like I said earlier, I think it's harder to do that sort of like winning from the front at Cheltenham, like Solness did at the DRF. So I think if Marine Nationale could just keep him in his sights, I think he's got a really good chance of winning. So I think he's a bit of an each way to nothing. Is he 6-1, 7-1, something like that? So I'm going to put him up, but I would like to see John Bond win and finally get his day.
Lovely. Thank you, John. Marine Nationale. I won't hold up the conversation too long, but I must admit I was absolutely convinced there when you said that. I was convinced you were going to go Banbridge with the crown. So do you think Banbridge is going to run elsewhere?
Do you know what? I don't know where he's going to run, but I'll back him. If it's like this, I'll back him. I mean, I think they're suited to the Ryanair, but will they have a go at the Gold Cup? Will they have a go at this? You just don't know, do you? It's going to be really interesting to see where he runs.
It is. Okay, Alex.
A good friend of mine commented on one of our Twitter polls about John Bond and said he's very underrated. That was Mr. Aaron Brown, and I can't say I agree with him. I think he's just not a superstar. I don't think he's underrated. My sort of angle at this race, I'll probably look at a couple that are bigger prices, either in the sort of without John Bond market or look to back them each way. And those two would be Founder 50 and Master Chewy. I think Master Chewy will love sort of the pace of this race. He really wants to sort of be staying on sort of having come off a really strong pace, sort of pick past and sort of go past horses as they're tiring. That's the way he likes to run. Really wants to be coming off that, as I say, that strong pace, which you'll definitely get in this. And that's what he got last time when he won, because obviously Matata was setting some very quick fractions. And then Founder 50, I think he's improved since last year. I know he pulled up last time, but I could forgive a horse one bad run. His run at Navan in November, he had Solness, Seneca, who won recently. He beat El Fabiolo, and he had Banbridge behind him as well. So I think the form of that race is working out really well. And I think he's still sort of, 20s you can get each way at the moment. And I'll have a look on the day, see if there's a betting without market, and have a go on that as well. But yeah, those two, Founder 50 and Master Chewy, although I do think John Bond wins.
Lovely, thank you, Alex. Yeah, Seneca was 66s or 100s or
something.
Beat Alfab.
What's really annoying about him, OJ, is I backed him at the DRF and he ran no sort of race, and then I didn't even realise he was running next time, and he won at 66-1. If I'd noticed, I'd have backed him. So
I'm sure he's won at a massive price before as well. I'm absolutely sure of it. Anyway, lovely. Thank you. Founder 50, Master Chewy, each way shouts for Alex. Graham, got anything?
I think I'd say John Bond, I think, deserves his place in the sun. I think he's has he lost once in his career? Is it once, I think? When he bashed a fence at Cheltenham. And I think that's he's got to get a clean round in, I suspect, because others be waiting for him to make a mistake. But it's got great speed, I think, and I think I think he's laid out for this. I think, to be honest, myself, I think John Bond wins, but I've great hopes for Marine Nationale, because that would be just a fantastic story if that won the race. I think it'd just be the roof would go off if that horse won. but also like Energumen. I think the ground's probably got to change a little bit for it, but I think it's got speed, it jumps well, and if I was going to pick one out of the three of those, I'd say, well, I hope John Bond wins, but I might have a little chilling or two on Energumen.
And proven.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Graham. And Ian. Back to you.
I'm gonna echo something that Johnny said. As much I like John, I love John Bond, and he should win. He's the form horse. It's done brilliantly this season. I know there's the things that he's only won twice out of 5 runs at the Cheltenham Festival, at Cheltenham, should I say. But as Johnny said, just this race just never seems to go to plan. It's even into the running. We've had issues with like Altior in the past, and I think if you remember, Chacun Pour Soi was due to run and didn't run. Deford de Soy then went to favourite and got beat by, who was the grey horse? I can't remember who it was. Politologue, was it? So you look at last year, El Fabiola was the hot favourite, and I think jumped a couple of fences and then pulled up. So it never seems to go to plan. So as much as I want him to win up, and I think he'll win, it's just that niggling doubt, that horrible doubt that something's going to not go wrong, but something will scupper his plans to win. The one I like, I think, is probably the best Irish horse out of these, and ironically, John Bond beat him 25 lengths at Sandown, is Solness. He, with the drying ground, I think will suit him. Graham was saying about Energumen, he probably needs a bit of cut in the ground, needs it to be soft. Marine Nationale probably need it to be a bit softer. Then you got that Gaelic Warrior probably won't run. He'll probably go Ryanair, Ile Francais. So I think Solness is the danger to John Bond. I just hope everything goes to plan and he wins. He finally wins, gets his day in the sun.
Lovely. Right. Thank you, chaps. Okay. I won't hang around too much. As again, I can see the clock ticking. The last one we look at on day 2 before we have a quick break is the Champion Bumper. Like I say, I've been out of the picture for a couple of minutes. I've got no clue. Can't even give you a steer. I wouldn't even know what's top of the bet in here. So, Alex, I bet Alex is dying to get stuck into this.
Yelling.
Am I? This is another one where I still haven't sort of nailed my colours to any mast. I think Game of Inches probably looks on all known form. I think probably looks the best of these at the moment. I think he definitely looks considerably better than Copacabana. I think Copacabana put up an RPR of 119 on debut, whereas I think Game of Inches has been up to 130, so that's significantly better form. If Kaiserball runs in this, I know can be a little bit of a lunatic, but if Kaiserball runs in this, I'd have a little each way squeak on him. But yeah, I think Game of Inches will win, and then Kaiserball place for me.
Lovely. Thank you, Alex. Graham, you got anything in here?
Well, I did nail my colours to the Wind Beneath My Wings, actually, so I'm glad I got my money back on that one. But that was going to be my big favourite for that day, for the day on Wednesday. I think I'm going to side with Copacabana. I think it looked, well, from what I've heard and what I've seen of it, I thought it was very impressive. Alex probably didn't think that way, but that's what I think. And I think I'd have a little each way saver on Bambino Fever, who also looked very impressive at the DRF. I'm not sure if Jodie Townsend will be riding her, but if she does, that'd be great. So Copacabana and Bambino Fever. It's a bit Mexican feel there or something like that, maybe. But
Like it. It's because Everton are coming back into form now, Graham.
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay, thank you, Graham. Ian?
I'm going to agree with Graham and disagree with Alex. I like Copacabana as well. I thought he was impressive at Navan, won by the 5 lengths, and he, similar to some of the others that have been bridle merchants, he actually battled for his win, and I think that's what impressed me, that Patrick got going on him, and he showed that battle and went on to win. So that what caught my eye. I believe Jodie Townsend is going to be on Bambino Fever, Graham. So that could be Johnny said that to watch that horse at the Dublin Racing Festival when she won. But yeah, not much to add, OJ. I think it's been a tough bumper this year. Normally we have our picks done and dusted, but it's been hard this year. But yeah, I'll go Copacabana.
Lovely. Thank you, Ian. And Johnny, finally.
Yeah, very little to say on this one, OJ. It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? No standout horse in there for me, as you can tell by the betting. Like Ian just said then, I was with Bambino Fever at the DRF. Said straight away, back Jodie in the bumper on day 2, because they always seem to give her a good horse in that race. And I think Patrick also said he picked the wrong one that day. So I'd just go Bambino Fever purely on that. I just like the way she did. She actually was under the pump, like maybe furlong and a half out, but she seemed to find a little bit and got past all the others that were ahead of her. So I'll go for Bambino Fever, dependent on rider, but I think she'll have a squeak, won't she, at 7-1?
Lovely. Well, thank you, gents. Right, we'll have a quick break, and we'll come back with day 3 in a few seconds. Okay. So moving swiftly on to day 3, and we kick off with the Mayor's Hurdle. And hands up, who wants to kick us off here?
Alex.
Alex.
Go on, then I'll go first.
Oh, Alex.
I am very keen on Jubilee Alpha, trained by Mr. Paul Nichols. It's a strange thing to say, but I think if he was trained by someone else, if she was trained by someone else, I think she'd actually be a shorter price. Obviously, Paul's stable haven't been quite to the level as they have been over, many years gone by. But yeah, Jubilee Alpha for me. So 3 runs over hurdle so far. She's beaten on debut at Newbury. I immediately took her out as the one to follow from that race. She looked sort of very green, and the other horses had sort of race experience before, particularly over hurdles. And then she had 2 wins since at Taunton and then at Windsor. And just looks to me like the kind of type that would really enjoy this type of race, really enjoy the speed that they'll go. She's also one of those horses that only ever really does enough to win. We haven't really got to the bottom and seen what she is fully capable of yet. And I think she could be the one to win this. But I mean, she is a nice backable each way price still. But yeah, I still think she definitely has a chance to win this race, despite being an each way price.
Lovely. Thank you, Alex. Mr. Fletcher.
Yes, all depends on which race this particular horse, which Joseph O'Brien decides to put this horse in there. Galileo Dame, or Dam, whatever you want to call it, is my pick for that. But I'll give you another one because I like this guy who, despite destroying Alex's golf course, Diva Luna as an each way bet as well.
I want to see that.
He nearly had a fight. Well, nearly had a fight with one of my friends as well in a nightclub in Cheltenham a few months ago. The less we say about that, the better.
Yeah. Heard about that too. He still tipped up Diva Luna there when he was there, though, didn't he?
What, during the fight?
Yeah.
No, not quite.
Ben Jones was very, very keen on this horse, I think, and so I'd put her up as an each way bet. But depending if Galileo Dame runs in this race, Joseph O'Brien's got to decide where he's going to run it. I think it's got a great chance.
Lovely. Thank you, Graham. Johnny?
Yeah, it's another tricky one, this, for me, really. As I said on the Twitter video the other day, I've been with Maureen all season. It does worry me that she's only had the one run, but that's the sort of things that Willie does, isn't it? He's done it before. I think Caroline Bamboo could go well in it. A bit more experience. She was pretty impressive the last time. Further down, I was looking at one called Air of Entitlement of Henry's.
Oh, yeah.
Seemed to come on for a first run and won impressively at Down Royal at Christmas. Could go well at big price, but I think I'll probably stick to Maureen because I've been on her throughout the season. But but maybe Air of Entitlement each way. Was that Ian who took a gasp there? Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Sounds like he left a bit of a deposit in his underpants.
I'll let him clean that up and he can probably kiss it.
I've got no tissues.
Oh, God.
Oh, you set OJ off.
Oh, it's to talk about sales. Oh. Right, stick with Maureen, John.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to go with Maureen just because
Secretary.
it's no, just because of who she's named after, and we were all talking last year about the bumper and so on. It's got to be a pretty special horse to hold that name for that family, I think, hasn't it? Yeah, right. Ian, have you cleaned yourself up now?
I'm set. I'm set. I'll go around winner first, and then I'll talk about air entitlement. I like the horse. The man that's now favourite is 6.5. She said she's had a very interesting prep. She had a flat, a few races on the flat. She won a Newmarket, and she was third in the Irish Cesarewitch. I think it was July, August time. And then a very impressive win at Ferryhouse, beating the Robcore horse Qualimeter that by 12 lengths. I think she ran at Dublin Race Festival, not to a standard, but she's I think she's been quite a good horse in the past. And talking to Rob Call at Johnny was saying, air of entitlement I like as well, potentially each way, but I've heard mixed that she may potentially not go. I've seen a tote stable tour from Henry de Bromhead, and he's not sure, and I think the Rob Call team are maybe a bit worried about the ground. I know she's won on good ground, but I'm still I don't think they're that certain that she'll go. But if she does, she's definitely one for each way. But I'll go with 6.5 OJ for the win.
Lovely. Thank you, boss man. Right, we'll move quickly on to the Ryanair.
I can't believe that after all that, he's saying she won't go.
If she does, she has a great chance. But
dear.
OJ's gone completely.
I'm totally gone. Right. Ryanair. Johnny, are you hoping Banbridge goes here?
Yeah, I am. And if I knew now that Banbridge was in the lineup and the ground was drying out, I'd go 100% Banbridge all the way. I think he'd take all the beating, whether Factor File runs in this or not. I just think it's right up his street. But you just don't know which race he's going to go for, do you, at the moment? But yeah, if he runs, it's him all the way for me. I mean, if I'll probably, for old time's sake, I'll probably have a few quid each way or an Envoire Alain, because I always do. He obviously still likes the track. He won it a couple of years ago. I think he's a cracking each way bet at about 20s there. I think the ground's probably going against the likes of Spillane's Tower. Probably like it a bit softer. But yeah, I mean, if Factor File does come here, obviously it'll be like a bit of an eye-catching move, won't it? But I'd still go for Banbridge over him if they both turn up on this ground. So yeah, Banbridge for me, OJ.
Lovely. Thank you, Johnny. Ian?
Not very original, OJ, but I think if Factor File goes here, I believe he wins. Probably maybe a bit better at this trip at the minute. I think in time, he'll probably go to the Gold Cup. And I'm just thinking that Willie's of the opinion that he could run Factor File in the Gold Cup, but would there be any point? I can't see him beating Galloping de Champ, where potentially he could win this race and the Gold Cup. So I know he beat Cheltenham de Champ at this distance at 2.5. The one might be a bit out of left field. I know I'd sometimes like a horse that's not quite done it in the Gold Cup and then drops down into the Ryanair, which we had with Protectorat. I know he's about 51 years old, but Jungle Boogie, I think, could be one for Henry de Bromhead at 60-1. One last time at Ascot over 2 mile 5, and he was 6th in the Gold Cup, but ran really well. I think he was what was he? I know he was 20 lengths behind, but for me, I think it was a very good performance considering how fragile the horse is and how many runs he's had. So I think he could be one for the places at 16-1. So yeah, Factor Fold for me to win and Jungle Boogie each way.
Lovely, thank you, Ian. Still very lightly raced in Jungle Boogie. Okay, Alex, what are you looking at in here?
If Factor File runs here, then he'll win the race, I think. And then I'll probably have a little each way on Hartwood, who I think, I mean, he was 4th behind Gallopin in December, had a little break since then. I quite like horses that have been, like Ian said, have been running over 3 miles, then coming back to 2.5. his form from last season, I think he was third behind, like I Know the Way You're Thinking, and Iroko at Aintree. He's then beaten I Know the Way You're Thinking this year in that race with Gallopin. Cheveley Park horse that finished strongly at the DRF behind Gallopin.
Grange Clare
Grange
West.
Clare.
Grange Clare West. He beat Grange Clare West that day as well. So I think over 2 mile 5, I think that'll really suit him, and I could definitely see him running into a place.
Lovely. Thank you, Alex. And Graham.
Factor File shouldn't be in this race. He should be in the Gold Cup, but he's going to run the Ryanair. So I think Factor File probably deserves to be favourite. I can imagine Ile France, if it runs, it'll be bombing off in front. And worryingly, I seem to be agreeing with Ian, to be honest. But Jungle Boogie is my each way nap for that day on that Thursday. So I really fancy Jungle Boogie to run very well. But for me, Factor File to win. If he can keep. Somebody said to me, "Did you watch the race at the DRF?" And Factor File was all over the place. He was going up front, he was going in the middle, he was going at the back. You couldn't get him to settle. And I think if he settles and he runs to his best, I think he wins this probably pretty comfortably. But Jungle Boogie might just pick him up on the line, Ian. 14-1, get in there.
Love it. Thank you, gents. Right, last race we're looking at tonight on day 3 is the Stayers Hurdle.
Here we go.
And who's not kicked us off here for a while? I'm trying to keep notes. I've got notes everywhere. Ian, you can set us off here.
I can go. I think it's going to be sadly fairly straightforward again. I think despite Lossy Mouth beating to Hoopu, I think he'll be the one for me. I know he's not much of a price we can get even money. Home by the Lead just seems to mop up the rest of the Irish races, but always gets beaten at Cheltenham. Lucky Place interests me. I know Grant, yes, he's a Henderson horse, but he's done really well this season. Won at Cheltenham already, I believe. I know he's the one that's unexposed at this trip to 3 Mile, which I don't think he'll have an issue with. 8-1, I think, is a very good price. And I have to give a mention to Lagadan. I know you said about it as a spring. 20-1. Surely you got to have a couple of quid on him just in case something happens and he wins. And it's a very Lagadan thing to happen. And it's been shit all season, and he'll come here at 20-1 and win the Stayers Hurdle. But yes, T-Hoopu for me, OJ. But have a couple of quid on Lagadan.
Lovely, thank you. Alex Crambo, go on.
No, he doesn't go left-handed. I'll be honest, OJ, I've got no real interest in this race. I don't really like T-Hoopu, and I can't really find anything else to oppose him. So I'm going to sit this one out.
Oh, that's fine. Johnny, we were despairing a bit this time last year, weren't we, at this division? Didn't know what was going on.
Do we still know what's going on? Yeah, I mean, T-Hoopu likely will win again, but obviously too short to put up, I think, in this type of race anyway, where anything can happen. I think Home by the Lee, not convinced that he likes this track. Like Ian mentioned then, I honestly think Langadal will be very close. I really, really do. We know it's his time of year. We know he comes good here. He comes alive here. They keep him back. I mean, he is still the second highest rated horse in the race. He's only got £4 to find on T-Hoopu. So, why can't he win it? I'm convinced that he's going to run a cracking race. And I don't want anybody moaning if he rocks up here and wins, that he won that race, he's been fiddling. So what? If he wins, doesn't he? We're still hearing people moan from last year, Alex, aren't we? So
I've got to admit, with Lagadan, I was of that until I was at Aintree when he pretty much dead heated in that. There was 3 of them that finished within about a nostril.
Oh,
that was
the same, wasn't it?
So,
and that was the first time I sort of probably gave him credit for because I gave him no chance in that race. So be nice to see.
He's a good price each way. Surely he's got to be.
Lovely. Thank you, Johnny. And Mr. Fletcher, back to you again.
T-Hoopu, who's allegedly, according to the blogger, he's his greatest horse ever, but that's another story. He can't lose, I shouldn't think. Lucky Place, don't share Ian's opinion on that one. One paste. Home by the Lee. The opportunities never really done it for me. Well, I got to go with Langadan because it will run well. It will definitely run well, and if it comes to place, that's really good. And I also think Gowell Road will run a big race. Don't know why, but I just think it will.
Lovely.
Dave's got to do well in something. So
One last time, Graham.
we did.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Graham. So, yeah, Johnny and Graham pretty keen on Langadan there. It'd be nice to see. Okay, we'll shift on from that. And we're on to day 4 now, are we?
Triumph Hurdle.
We are Triumph Hurdle, day 4. Right, Johnny, I'm going to have to come to you here first, aren't I?
You are.
Go on. All year.
All on day 1 being champion, East India Doc even. So obviously not deserting him now. He's passed the eye test for us twice, hasn't he? You know, not just once, twice. He's been great. Figures look good. The course and distance wins. Obviously, you've got to respect the other two at the top of the market with Lulamba and Hello Neighbour. I'm not convinced Lulamba's form line is the best, to be honest with you. As I think was it Emma who mentioned on our Twitter tips one or Twitter poll one the other day, Hello Neighbour's probably a filthy each way at this moment in time, which I can quite that probably is. Palladium is the sort of odd one here because you just don't know about this horse much over hurdles. You just don't know what's going to happen there. So that could be anything. Could be an each way bet. But back to East India Doc, OJ, I think he just shit so.
Love it. Thank you, Johnny. Okay, Graham.
East India Doc for me, flat horse that can jump hurdles, which is really good. Jumps them like springs over him, takes lengths out of every horse. Lulamba obviously only run once this year and won. I'm not sure I was that impressed with it, but you never know. It's probably going to come on. But yeah, East India Doc for me. Part of a double I got on that day, which I'll talk about later on maybe. But anyway, that's for me. East India Doc hoses up 10 lengths.
Lovely.
How about that, Tommy?
Nice
Is
and
that
confident. Right? Nice and confident, Graham. Alex.
I was there when East India Doc won both his races. I was there when Lulamba won, and I was there when Hello Neighbour won. And East India Doc was the most visually impressive to me. I've put the little flag in the top corner because he's going to win. But what I'll probably do is a reverse forecast between him and Hello Neighbour. That'll be probably my bet for the race because those, to me, are clearly the best two horses in the race. I'm not having Lulamba. People call him Leylamba, don't they? So Ian is fuming.
I've deliberately left Ian to the last, but I wasn't sure whether he was still conscious then because he's gone into a grown state and his face was going redder from sort of the neck area. So go on, Ian, give the argument contrary to everybody else.
I know. I'm going to try. As much as East India Doc has impressed me, I'm going to go with the Lamba. I know it's very obvious. Ran to an RPR 132. I know he beat Mondo Man, and Mondo Man was giving the Lamba £10. Yes, I know Mondo Man was terrible when me and Alex was there at Kempton. But there's a couple of bits there. St Pancras, who was 5th in the race, was 2nd in the Adonis, again in that race. And Villani was in that race, has come out and won since. I think he's probably got more potential. He with his runs in France as well, and his run here. I know East India Doc has the form in the book. But yeah, I'm just going to go with my eye, and I just think the Lamba could be the winner in this race, OJ.
Lovely, thank you. So just with your eye and nothing to do with the fact it's Henderson horse.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Ian. Shouldn't pull. Right, Mayor's Chase time. Who's it? Mr. Fletcher, we'll come back to you and let you lead the way on this one.
Second part of my aforementioned double on Friday.
Ooh.
Dino Blue. Dino Blue wins this one. Can't tell you why I think that is, but it is. She's going to win. She's going to win. That's all I can say. I'm very
She
confident.
wins. She just wins.
She just wins because I can't see anything else that's going to beat her. To be honest, only by the night does it get that distance. Does it want to go that fast? I don't know. Spindleberry is that's I haven't actually seen that run. I think Dino Blue is a class horse in the race, and I think it wins. Boom.
Lovely. Nice and succinct. That's what we like. Alex?
I'm very keen on two. I'm very keen on, firstly, Bride's Hill. I was very keen on her last year, got on at a very nice price, and then she didn't run because the ground went pretty poor for her. It was, well, what did it go off in the end? Like soft / heavy last year. But she's a much better horse on better ground. She obviously skipped Cheltenham last year, went to, I think it was Punchestown, and she put up an RPR of 159, which I believe is higher than the horse that won the Mayor's Chase last year. She's had a couple of runs this year. She actually finished second behind a horse called Telepathique, who is my other selection. So yeah, firstly Bride's Hill, and then second Telepathique. She led the whole way in this race against Bride's Hill. I think it was last month. And coming to jumping the last, it looked like Bride's Hill was going to go past her. And then she sort of seemed to just find another gear. I don't think they've got to the bottom of her. She's gone up nearly £40 in the handicap since the start of this year, start of this season. So she's clearly a horse on the up. And I think there's a lot of question marks about the horses that are above those ones. Dino Blue particularly, who I think is probably a 2-miler, and Allegro de Vassi, who I would not trust that horse whatsoever. So yeah, those two for me, each way prices. So Telepathique and Bride's Hill.
Lovely. Thank you, Alex. Ian. Rainman.
Right. I had my money on bioluminescence, but by the sounds of it, I'm not 100% sure she's going to go on the ground. I know she won on yielding and got beat recently, was it a week or so ago, by Spindleberry. So I'm a bit concerned that she's ran that soon. I think was it a week or two back. I'm still not sold on some of the numbers. I know Dino Blue probably should have put a better performance this time last year in the Mayor's Chase. Was beaten by Limerick Lace. I think the ground went for her as well. Allegro de Vassi I love, but she's very, very hit and miss. And then I don't know. I'm not really sure, OJ, to be honest. So I say I like bioluminescence, but I'm not sure she's going to run. But otherwise, I don't know. It might be one on the day for me, OJ. I've not got my heart set on anything at the minute.
That's perfectly fine, sir. Perfectly fine. And Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, I was on Dino Blue last year, wasn't I, at 20s, and was on about her all season, and she got pipped into second by Limerick Lace. So I'm a little bit cheesed off that I'm not on at that sort of price again, because she looks the likely winner to me this year. But there is quite a lot of trust issues about a lot of these in this, as the other lads have already mentioned. Obviously, Ian mentioned about the ground going against bioluminescence. That was one on my list, but probably not anymore. I did back that She Could Be Anything at hundreds earlier in the season, but even she's gone off the boil the last couple of times as well. But you never know, maybe she could perk up on the day. I've got her now in the book at 100 to 1, so I think she's 33s now. So hopefully she can run a good race. It's not really a strong pick, but I'll go with Graham on it, and Dino Blue I think will probably just edge it this year.
Lovely. Thank you, Johnny. Fingers crossed. Dino Blue for Johnny and Graham. Bride's Hill and Telepathique at bigger prices for Alex. And Ian's unsure. Bioluminescence, but not sure that she'll run. Okay. Albert Bartlett. Mr. Galpin, I think we're back round to you.
I couldn't put a horse up at this stage for this race. This is a race for absolute boats. So just back something on the day that's about 20 to 1. There you go. Something about 20 to 1 on the day that has lots of experience over hurdles and has been running over 3 miles, because generally this race, the best horse in the race doesn't win it. So yeah, ignore the favourites. There you go. That's my analysis of this race, OJ. That's as far as I'm going to go.
Advice. That is absolutely fine. Ian?
I'm going to put up a horse, OJ, but I'm going to contradict myself at the same time.
Here we go.
Again.
Again. So it's
This is your USP, isn't it, Ian?
I know. It's the big the big Westerner. I know she's been very good this season. So wins at Punchestown in November and Limerick in December. She'll have no issues with the trip. I don't think the ground would be an issue. But mares do not have a very good record in this race. South Soretta was 7th. Elsa was pulled up. I think the last one to run was Augusta Cated 2017 and was beaten 25 lengths. So a pedigree suggests she'll stay, and I think a half brother stay away fails won this before. Yeah, so I want to back her, and I will back her, but there's again a niggly doubt in my mind. And as I said in the previous days, we were saying about the yellow clay. I want the yellow clay to come here because I think he'll have a better chance of winning this than the Turners. Again, it might be a bit of pocket talk, but yeah, the big Westerner. The other one I've got my eye on is one called Ballybow. Again, is one ran quite well, and I think we'll have no issues with the 3 mile. I think you can get 16-1 at the minute, OJ. They're probably the 2 I'll play at the moment.
Lovely. Thank you, Ian. Johnny obviously mentioned the yellow clay earlier.
Yeah, I've written a load of horses down here, but I don't know if half of them are going to run. I mean, if the yellow clay or final demanded rock up here, I think they'd win easily. Yeah, then the class horse in the race might win, but like Alex said, you get a lot of outsiders, don't you, winning big price ones. Wingman's a horse that I've followed through his bumper last year. I quite liked him, so I'd probably have a little nibble on him each way. There's 2 that I've written down here, but they've got entries in handicaps, and that's Patter Merchant and Manella Saxo. I think Patter Merchant's got a few entries, while Manella Saxo's got one in the pipe. So if they did come here instead, I'd probably have a little go each way on maybe one of them. And then one that I'd sort of a bit forgotten about, which I just noticed then, is this Argento boy of Mullins's. I think he's currently 33-1, and I had a bet on him early on in the season after I was reading something on, I think it was on one of the Fat Jockey lads mentioned it. And if you look at his form, he started off over 2 miles. He's been over 2.5, and then when he was stepped up to nearly 3 miles, he absolutely pissed it back in February. So against at Punchestown, he won by 15 lengths. So maybe the key to him was the step up in trip, and maybe that's what they've done all season. Is just kept him in a few shorter races, and then with the intention of stepping him up throughout the season, and maybe he'll go well in this. So at 33-1, I mean Townend rode him last time when he won, so I'll probably put him up each way. Actually, out of the ones I've written down, I'll go for him over Wingman.
Lovely, thank you, Johnny and Graham.
Hopefully Townsend doesn't ride Jasmine DeVoe and he rides Argento Boy.
Yeah.
Exactly the same reasons as Johnny. Put her along a trip, absolutely hosed home the last time. Big fancy for Argento Boy in this. Also like Ballybow. But so 2 big price ones, I think, as Alex said as well. Big price horses do well in this. So I'm going to go for Ballybow and Argento Boy, both each way. If Townsend rides Argento Boy, we're at the Gregory Hughes collecting our money.
I love this, Graham. And you and Johnny having the crossovers here a few times.
Indeed, yes, indeed.
Jars out, isn't it, OJ?
Oh, coffee jars rattling. Lovely. Okay, we're nearly there. We're 1 hour and 20, so we've pulled things back a bit in line. Gold Cup time, and even though he's virtually part of the team, it's a flagship race with Mr. Fletcher. You'll have to give us your Gold Cup analysis.
On the verge of greatness, Galopin de Champs wins this easy. If anything's trying to catch him, they won't catch him. If he gets in front by a length or so, he wins going away. Brilliant horse. Galopin de Champs for me.
Love it. Fingers crossed. Johnny, agree?
Yeah, totally agree with Graham. I can't see anything beating him. Only a fall could probably stop him. It'd just be great to see a 3-time winner, wouldn't it, live? So that's what I'm looking forward to. I think of the rest, I'd have probably Monty Star maybe to plod home and chase him home for second, but galloping all the way for me too.
Love it. Alex?
I think Johnny just hit the nail on the head. Galloping to win. Monty Star to run into a place.
And Ian?
Yeah, not much else to add. A galloping to Champ. I'd like the ground to dry out a bit so we can see Banbridge running this to give him a run for his money. Whether we get that drying ground or not, I don't know. And sadly, I think we're going to probably have a handful of runners in this. I reckon we'll probably be lucky if we have about 5 or 6. Some of these that are in the betting, like Grey Dawning and Grange Clare West have run recently. I don't think Hewitt's going here. Yeah. So yeah, galloping wins. Just put them in your doubles and your trebles on the day.
Can't see the field going that low. Surely not.
Surely. If so, depending on the ground, Banbridge might not run. Fletcher might not run.
Fletcher won't run in this.
Yeah, I reckon you'll be lucky if you get 6 or 7.
I'm quite interested to see how Corbett's cross runs with blinkers on.
There
you go.
It'd be quite the spectacle. Whatever. Galopan's been very impressive again this year. It's quite. Am I right here? I was thinking about this earlier. Was Album Photos the first time Willie has won the Gold Cup? Was it?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Two multiple winners.
So I think in Townend could potentially. I think Pat Taff has won 4 Gold Cups, so he could potentially equal that as well. 2 with Album, and he would beat it, wouldn't he? In the 3 with Galloping.
Lovely. Well, we'll all be glued to that, I'm sure. And right, okay. So the last race we're looking at this evening, then, St James Place Festival Challenge Cup Open Hunters Chase. Ian, take it away.
Yeah, not very original. Angel's Dawn for me. Experience at the track before. I think she won. Did she win the Kimure? And she's. I think she comes second recently. I think she beat Stumptown in the Kimure. Yeah, so that the experience in that race is. I know there's not much else to add with the Hunters Chase, but yeah, I think that will be the key factor. And she gets to £7 as well in this race. Other than that, if I scroll down here, some old interesting names like Shearer and All Mankind and Wonderwall, Barnestown Land. So it might be a heart overhead, couple of quid, and maybe some of the old favourites. But yeah, I think I'll go with Angel's Dawn, OJ. Not very original.
It's on the line there. Second favourite wasn't extremely well fancied last year in this, and just beaten, and then went and won quite well. Like being at Aintree possibly after, I think. So I wonder. Okay,
I will say one thing. I'll give him a plug, OJ. Our friend Froggy Paul, Mr. Beck, he gave me the winner last year, and I'm waiting on the message for him to tell me who's going to win the Hunters Chase. But yeah, so thank you. He gave me the winner last year, so just keep an eye on what Mr. Beck picks. Normally wins the Hunters Chase.
We'll await the message.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ian. Johnny?
Yeah, not my favourite race by any means, but I'm pretty strong on Angel's Dawn as well. Was going well in the Kimure last year as well, but fell. I think it might have been 2 out, perhaps. Should take all the beating, I think. But it will be interesting to see the likes of All Mankind in this company, but I'm not sure if he'll get home the way he goes, and it's over 3 mile too. So it'd be quite fun watching him. You know, if he sticks to his usual tactics where he bounds out in front, they'll be strung out like the washing, won't they, after a mile? So it'll be good. But he is a Grade 1er, isn't he? So I know it was like 5 years ago now. He is a Grade 1er. I don't know how many of the others are, but yeah,
isn't he one of Matty Luke's favourites? Isn't he? All Mankind.
He was, yeah,
very much so. Loved it, along with Thomas Darby, obviously.
Thomas, yeah. Little mention for Matty there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's throwing us some handicap selections to put in for him tomorrow, apparently. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Angels Dawn.
Angels Dawn for Johnny, Annie, and Alex.
I really couldn't care less. Sorry. But if
Alex
you
would
put
be in
a
the
gun to
bar.
my head right now, OJ, and said I had to have a selection, I'd probably go on Shearer. He has some form at the track before. He's not too old like some of these horses in here are 11 and 12. He's still only a 9-year-old. But he ran in a champion bumper. There can't be many horses that have run in a champion bumper and have ended up running in this race. So, yeah, I'd have a little go on Shearer, but it's not a confident selection.
So
Be
what
nice to
is
see the
last
McNeils get a
Alex?
Cheltenham Festival winner as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and Mr. Fletcher, final one for you, please.
This on the line, is it ridden by Derek O'Connor? Do we think?
Usually,
Maybe.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, more than likely.
Amateur jockey in the country, in the world, maybe. So I'm going to go with it's on the line, but I take the point that Shearer is a Nichols horse, and I think his daughter's going to ride it as well. I think. Which one? I don't know which one. Not Megan, is it? She doesn't ride horses. I don't know whether the name is of the daughters. She's definitely going to ride it, so I'm going to go with Shearer. Olive Nichols. Yeah, I'm going to go with Shearer each way. It's on the line because Derek O'Connor's going to ride it. That's my only reasoning in this race whatsoever. There you go.
Lovely. Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. So there we go. I'm not going to run back through all the selections, even though I have scrolled down notes and so on. But chaps, thank you for your time. It's been excellent. It's been a great listen for myself. We're knocking on for an hour and a half, which is not too bad for us, I think. So your best bet. We're asking for one best bet. I hope you've kept it in mind since we did discuss it earlier on. So I'll go around as I'm looking at it clockwise. Ian, your best bet out of what we've discussed tonight would be
6.5 Mares Novice Hurdle.
Thought you was going to put up a TriCast.
The simplest bet.
He did that in the Mares Hurdle one year, didn't he? He's like, I don't know what to do, so I'll do the easy option. I'll give you the TriCast.
Cheer.
Right, sorry. So 6.5 in the Mares Novice Hurdle for
Yes,
Ian.
please.
Johnny?
I'll go for East India Dock in the Triumph. And the more I think about it, my best each way is going to be that Argento boy in the Bartlett. I'm just sold on him now. Graham's maybe doubled down.
Yeah. Graham's confidence shone through, I must say.
Put grand on.
Let's have it.
And you've got to stick with East India Dock because you've been.
Yeah.
I don't like to say banging on, but you've vociferously been on the case.
Right,
Mr. Fletcher.
Well, I was going to do exactly the same as Johnny was, but I can't do that now because that would be just boring. Argento boy,
No,
definitely. That's a big shout. No, I'm not doing it. I'm going to go for my own one. I'm going British. The New Lion. The New Lion wins the Turners. Come on.
Lovely. Thank you, Graham. And Galpers, finally.
I'm going to be boring. I'm going East India Dock. And then a little nice each way one. I will go with Hartwood in the Ryanair.
Ooh.
Lovely. So there we have it. Thank you, gents. It's been a privilege and a joy, and let's fingers crossed we get something out of it. Obviously, final confirmations and supplementations or whatever that would be called begin tomorrow for day one. So the picture will become a bit clearer from now on in. But wish you all the best of luck. And obviously, we're going to get together again tomorrow night and look at the handicaps.
Yep.
So thank you for your time. And I'll try and not waffle tomorrow and get it done nice and quick.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
Good.
Not bad for us.
Quicker than Paddy Powers.
So, yeah, anybody out there watching, we hope you enjoy. And if you do, please like, subscribe, share, See, I've even forgotten how that all goes. Ian, do you want to take over on this bit?
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you tomorrow.